Thank you. If I could take you to another issue, Minister, your conversion practices ban legislation has now commenced. Anti-Discrimination New South Wales have begun educating the public about its effect and operation. Are you satisfied that the statements on the Anti-Discrimination New South Wales website are consistent with the legislation?
I haven't had regard to the wording on the on their website, but I can't imagine that they would post something that is contrary to the legislation. If anyone brings to my attention that it is contrary to the legislation, we'll have a look at it.
Okay. Mr Daley, do you support the right to freedom of religion?
Of course.
And does that include the freedom of people of faith to pray?
Yes.
Anti-Discrimination New South Wales on their website advise that the Act does not prohibit prayer, but, quote, praying with or over a particular person in an attempt to try to change or suppress that person's sexuality or gender is unlawful, end quote. That statement sounds like a prohibition on prayer, does it not? Prayer is lawful unless it is about a matter which has been declared to be unlawful.
No, conduct is lawful unless it's unless it offends the statute. So when it comes to conversion practices, there are very clear words in the statute that describe what a conversion practice is and describe what a conversion practice is not. It is either one or the other. And you can pray with a person and do all those sorts of things, but if you pray in a way that it becomes a, I don't have the bill in the Act in front of me, but if it becomes, you know, a sustained practice directed to a person with a view to changing their sexual orientation or gender, that's against the law. If you're sitting down praying with someone to strengthen them and guide them and all those pastoral considerations, that's fine. But if you're sitting down to pray the gay away, that's not.
So, with respect, isn't prayer commonly about change of all sorts of things?
It depends on the context, on the words that constitute the prayer, on the circumstances that underpin the conduct. And so I can't give you a definitive answer on what that
So
might
just to
constitute,
summarise, you're saying it is entirely appropriate for the New South Wales Government to put limits on what lawful prayer can be?
Well, if it's an unlawful prayer, then it's not a lawful prayer. If it's a prayer that's actually not a prayer, it's a conversion practice, and it's not lawful.
So the government has the right to say what prayer is lawful and what prayer is unlawful?
It doesn't matter whether it's a prayer or whether it's not a prayer. Prayer is subjective. If it's words that constitute a conversion practice, it's unlawful. And look, we've been through this.
Sorry, I'm just trying to understand your answer. Are you saying that the government can judge whether something is a prayer or not? Or are you saying the government can put limits on what lawfully can be done in the way of prayer?
Government can put limits on the behaviour of its citizens, regardless of what that behaviour is, and they do it in a myriad of ways every single day, whether it's prayer or driving or dealing in drugs or assaulting other people. There's nothing special about words coming out of a person's mouth. For the words that come out of a person's mouth constitute a conversion practice, it's an offensive to the Act. And if it's just
what if those words are internal prayer?
What does that mean? Look, I'm not going to sit here...
No, that means that I could be praying now.
Well, you could be.
Yeah, and if I am praying now that somebody I know and love who has asked me to pray, that they can, of their own volition, follow what they see as the rules of God, and that happens to involve abstinence from sex outside a sacramental marriage, is that a breach of the legislation?
That's a ridiculous question.
Why? I think that's a common type of prayer many people would engage in daily.
Yeah, and you should, as a legally qualified person, go and work out by reading the Act whether you think that is a conversion practice or not.
I'm asking you, Attorney, because a number of people have raised this issue with me, and they are concerned that what they see on the Anti-Discrimination New South Wales website appears to them to be the government seeking to limit the freedom to pray. And this has raised great concern in certain sections of the community. And I note that before the election, the Premier publicly committed in respect of conversion legislation that, quote, an individual at their own consent, seeking guidance through prayer will not be banned. So is consensual prayer, if somebody asks somebody to pray with them, is that banned?
I'll just have a look on what the AD New South Wales website says. It says, the Conversion Practices Ban Act 2024 does not prohibit prayer. Pretty clear, right? Pretty clear.
Yeah.
However,
but then, yes.
praying with or over a particular person in an attempt to try to change or suppress that person's sexuality or gender is unlawful. That's a restatement of basically the Act. It is not unlawful for a person to seek counsel or guidance from within their faith. That is an exclusion in the Act, express exclusion. Counsel and guidance, including prayer, can still be given as long as it is not an attempt to change or suppress the person's sexuality or gender identity. That is unremarkable language which restates what's in the Act, and it is an Act that the Faith Affairs Council, I want to thank them for the good faith work they did with my office, with DCJ and others to bring that Conversion Practices Bill to fruition.
So just to be clear, you've just told us that the Faith Affairs Council is happy with the conversion practices legislation and is happy with the way it's being interpreted by Anti-Discrimination New South Wales?
How would I know that?
Well, sorry, then I was uncertain why you made a reference to the Faith Affairs Council.
I wanted to thank them for the good faith work they did in helping us to land that bill.
And so if they came to you now and they had reservations, you would listen to those reservations?
They've already written to me, so I'll have a look at the letter. You know that.
You haven't looked at it yet, Attorney General?
I've seen the letter and it's been looked at by the department.
Okay.